Mm, Welcome. Oh, we have a delay, so I'll wait for a moment. Thanks everyone for being here, as always. There we go. Hi, Julia. Aloha. Belated happy birthday, my love. Love seeing those pictures and just that beauty. I'm so thrilled in this moment and in this new creation. It's beautiful. Hi, Jason. Hi, Anami. Welcome. Welcome, everyone. It looks like things are very slow on my end. I'm seeing your your comments coming through maybe even a minute or two ago. So I'm just going to pause for a moment and see if hopefully it catches up. I'll send a quick chat to see if that goes to real time. Okay, so there's an issue here. Okay. Can you hear me now, my friends? Can you see me? See me, hear me? Oh, great. Hi, Rosita. Hi, Susie. Hi, Gabriella. Okay, wonderful. So you can hear me. Can you see me? Okay, great. Great. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for your support. It's always a journey, isn't it? One moment, I'll just double check something else to make sure that everything is going well. Hopefully it is. Well, if it's not, it is what it is, as long as we're good here on this platform. Okay, wonderful. Well, the first thing I was saying when you were just seeing my mouth move is I was wishing our beloved Julia a belated happy birthday. And just all my love and all my gratitude for you and blessings to you in this new creation, this moment and every moment, your creation. Okay, welcome everyone. Thank you so much for being here. Oh, wonderful! Belated happy birthday, Anami. Oh, beautiful. Happy birthday to each and everyone having birthdays in this time. For anyone that I am just getting to meet for the first time, my name is Selena Lael. I'm a yoga and meditation instructor, a transformational coach, and an awakened life teacher. I have many recordings here on the app. I lead live sessions every week. I have a 10-day course, Yogic Practices for a Peaceful Life. And I'm always honored to be together. I was having this moment yesterday or today. Some of you are aware that I know many of us have been going through just many challenges lately. And even if the outer world does seem challenging, for many, the inner world has been very challenging, if not both. And many of you know that my inner and outer worlds have felt very challenging recently. And I just had this moment. Part of what I've been personally experiencing is this really huge opportunity. And you could call it a lesson, but sometimes that sounds too harsh, but this opportunity to become aware of how attached I am to things, attached to people, attached to things being a certain way. And that attachment is where so much suffering comes from. Yes, this is ancient wisdom here. And I had this moment where I was just feeling how the things that I'm attached to most are things like my family or my guru. and this feeling of how they will not always physically be with me, and how for me that's kind of like the most painful thing. And I was just in this moment in my meditation where I was just really facing the temporary nature of everything, especially the things I'm most attached to. And I just said, and felt, not just said, but really deeply felt, as I face the reality that all of these things that I'm attached to will one day go. My life is for you. My life is for you. My life, the thing that gives my life meaning, kind of comes back to selfishness. But truly, my life is for you. There's nothing in a way that seems more important than service. And many of you have experienced this, that we can long for everything outside. Julie is saying frozen, so I'm just going to check and pause here for a moment to make sure you all can still. Are you still with me? Are we still together? Are things frozen? Not frozen here. Okay, maybe it's just Julia on the islands. Thanks, Jason. So, we can spend our whole lives looking for fulfillment. Yes, looking for fulfillment, looking for fulfillment. And we're looking for it in relationships, and we're looking for it in things outside of us. And each time something changes, there's a sense of loss or disappointment, or maybe we question, was it really worth it? And for many of us, myself included, I find that coming back to service is what really gives life meaning. And it doesn't just have to be that. It doesn't have to be some grand, altruistic perspective. Our life can have tremendous meaning just watching the sunrise or the sunset. We're the meaning makers, yes? So sharing all of this just to share in this tenderness that it really does feel, the more and more that I face and release and face and accept all of these temporary things that I'm attached to, that my life being of service and being here for you is what makes the most sense and what feels most true in a way. So thank you for being here with me. Thank you for allowing me to be in this space with you. Okay, so it looks like we're having some choppy reception today. Hopefully we stay connected enough that we can be here together. So, this is our first session in our manifestation series, and I'm just so I'm so thrilled about this topic because, like many, including myself, we live much of our lives feeling like life is happening to us, feeling like things go wrong, and it's just it's just the way it is, and really we're so powerful. We're so powerful. And many of us aren't even aware of it. We might hear those things. We might see it in a quote or hear it in an affirmation, or maybe you've heard of the law of attraction or the movie The Secret, and this is something that you've considered before. But we are really just incredibly powerful and creating our life experience through our perception, our behaviors, actions, thoughts, emotions. And when we become a conscious creator, we have this opportunity to create more of the life that we're wanting, and to also access greater experiences of acceptance, I find. Acceptance. And of course, acceptance guides us to peace. Accepting life as it is in the moment. It doesn't mean that we don't stand for what we believe in or take actions to create the world we want, but acceptance as a pathway of peace. So this is a 5-week series. We'll be here together for the next 5 Mondays, my time in a row at this time, 6 p.m. Feel free to join us for all of them. We're just going to dive deeper and deeper into the topic. And each time we'll have an opportunity to have an experience together as well. So this is what we're doing here. I want to read Zis's quote. In 100 years, all people who are now on earth will be gone. Yes, this is sharing in relationship to feeling support, grieving, and staying present. Just this awareness that, yeah, in 100 years, everything that we know, all the people will be gone and the world will probably be a very different place. So let us cherish it now. Yes. So, manifestation, baby. All right, let's just take a few breaths together before we dive into the topic. So just allow your body to be as it is. If you find that you're really contracted, you may wish to open your shoulders. Welcome, Luis. Or just do something to consciously relax your body. You can close the eyes if you wish. Let's take a deep, slow breath in together. Hold the breath for just a moment. And exhale slowly. Really expel all of the air. Inhale deeply. Hold, relax the shoulders. Exhale slowly. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Long exhalations. Inhale slowly. Hold. Exhale. Feel the body relaxing. We'll take 2 more breaths like this. Inhale, feel your belly, ribs, and chest expand. Hold the breath. Exhale slowly. You may even feel that space of the diaphragm gently pressing in so that the air can be pushed out. 1 more breath like this. Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Be still for a moment. Breathe naturally. Become aware of the feelings in your body, the beating of your heart. Bring your awareness down into the soles of your feet. Feel your belly relaxing, your face and your jaw relaxing. And when you're ready, open the eyes. Okay. What notices a difference after just taking these last couple of minutes to breathe consciously? You notice there's maybe a feeling of more calm, quiet, clarity, presence. You can just drop something in the chat, maybe just an emoji. Let me know if you're feeling that. Yeah, great. Thank you for sharing. So, one thing that we don't often think about when it comes to manifestation is coming into greater alignment with our own being in the process of manifesting. Today's topic in this theme of manifestation will be the power of our minds. So we're going to dive into some very light neuroscience and just an understanding of how powerful our minds are, and then we'll move into an experience and a practice together. So again, many of us might have some experience, maybe a lot of experience of manifesting, but there's a great teaching that has been said in different ways, but it's essentially that you can't create something new from a place of the old within you. Now, of course, this doesn't apply to a garden, right? We use fertilizer to really nourish the soil to plant new seeds. But when it comes to an energetic space inside of us, an emotional space inside of us, a vibration inside of us, we can't expect to create something new from the old. So, for example, if I'm living in this space of thinking about how life is hard, life is just so hard, or maybe my thought process is, I just feel bad, I feel bad. Maybe I feel like my body feels bad, or I feel like my emotions feel bad, or maybe my mind just feels bad. Yes? If I'm caught in these kinds of thoughts and beliefs and these kinds of emotions, I'm also in a certain vibration. And so if I want to create the life of my dreams that does not look like what I'm living inside of, I can't create it from that same vibration. I need to shift into something new to start to create something new. Yeah, I mean that's just simple, right? It's not too profound to consider. If we want to create something new, we need to create a new energetic space, mental space, emotional space, even physical space to create from. And I'll just touch on this idea of vibration for just a moment here, because I know for many of us, we hear things like vibration and we're like, ugh, this is nonsense. What is this vibration? Woo woo, new age nonsense. Science has shown us that everything, all of matter, and even things that are not as tangible as matter, all have a vibration. Everything in creation is vibrating at a certain frequency. This includes thoughts and emotions. They may not be as tangible as this microphone or my arm, but they are a vibration. And there's something that can even be measured. So we have this vibrational space inside of us. And if we want to create a new vibration, then we need to shift into something that looks a little more like that. Yes? Otherwise, we're just in that same old space that's going to keep generating the same outcomes, responses, and so on. And something else I'd like to state here, first of all, that I really welcome each of us just as we are. So, however you're feeling today, whatever you're thinking, whatever your belief systems are, your spiritual beliefs, your religious beliefs, your beliefs about anything, you're totally welcome. Totally welcome. You don't have to subscribe to any belief system to be here. I welcome you fully just to explore this space with us. Let's take a breath together. Sometimes it's good to slow it down so we can start to absorb things more and also have time for reflection. Yes. So vibration and cultivating a space within us that is more likely to create that which we're wanting. So yes, I think someone said something, it's not always simple, but fabulous. Yes, it's not always simple to shift our vibration. Not at all. I mean, if we're in a funk, we have probably years, if you could even say generations, generational years inside of our DNA. We have years of patterns that we live inside of. So it's not to say that it's just automatically going to be easy to shift the state that you're in. However, it is possible. And some of the most effective ways to do this are by moving the body in different ways. And also using the breath. This is another component of the physical body, yes. So the body and the breath. So let's just all try something right now. I invite you, wherever you are, I'm going to stay seated so that I can stay in the camera view. But if you're able to stand up, I invite you to just jump up right now and move your body around. I know it might seem ridiculous. If you're sitting down or if you can't move your body for any reason, you can just use your breath, start breathing with a little more power and a little more aliveness. But if you can move your body, I really invite you just to move your body and not move your body like a dance move. I really invite you to move your body in what might seem like very strange ways so that we get out of some of those patterns that we're so used to being stuck in. So just shake your body out, start to breathe more deeply, shake, 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 move around. Breathe a little more deeply. I know this might seem like nonsense, but this is a fantastic way to shake things up in the brain. And then let's come back to the seat. Yes? Okay, great. And just notice if you feel even just a smidge difference, even just like a teeny, 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 teeny bit different. Yeah. So we can use our bodies as a way to shift out of old patterns and behaviors. We can also use the breath by just bringing more power with the breath, breathing more deeply, make sure we're exhaling fully so we can turn on that relaxation response in the nervous system. And of course, there are many, many other practices that can help us really come into alignment. Yoga, Tai Chi, Qigong, so many things that we can do. Of course, many different styles of meditation to come into alignment. So I just invite us as we move through this 5-week series together to consider that finding a greater state of alignment within us is a really powerful foundation for being able to shift out of old patterns and behaviors and also shift the vibration, yeah, that we're inside. So I'd like to share one other great alignment practice, an energetic alignment practice. We call this the centering technique. You won't be able to see my whole body, but I invite you to just follow along with the cues, and as much of my body that you can see, you can follow along with that. So let's bring the hands together at the heart. Again, if you can't move your body, you can visualize this in your mind. Feel your thumbs against your chest. Sit tall. Let's take a deep breath in. Reach the right arm all the way up. Straighten the elbow as much as you can. Left arm is going to come down, but the fingers are still pointing up. Exhale very slowly, consciously, back to your heart. Feel the palms completely touch at the heart center. Inhale, slowly reach the left arm up, right arm goes down, fingers point up, straight arm. Exhale, really take your time all the way back to the heart. One more time on the right side. Inhale, reach the right arm straight up, left fingers point up, but the arm and the hand move down. Really take your time to come back to the heart. This aligns the subtle bodies, brings all of our energetic systems into greater balance inside. We complete with the thumbs gently touching the chest. Palms touch, relax the shoulders, breathe deeply. Okay, thank you. So this centering technique, you can practice as many times as you like, as many times a day. And also if you want to go more than 3 rounds, you can go more than 3 rounds. It's a wonderful way to slow down, bring clarity to the mind, feel this energetic harmony within us, and a little more calm as well. Maybe a lot more calm for some of us. So now we have some nice foundational awareness as we move into manifesting. So manifesting. And of course, at any time, if you have a question, feel free to pop that in the chat and I'll do my best to get to your questions as we move through our experience together. Our brains are fantastic and our minds are also fantastic. What many of us don't realize is, again, we are the creators. We're just not always conscious creators. And many of us live inside of patterns, habits, and beliefs that are really outdated. You know, how many of you have beliefs that you picked up from your family that are things like, money doesn't grow on trees, or you've got to work hard for things in life, or if you don't treat something, I don't know, like I could go on and on trying to figure these things out, but can you kind of think about some things in your own life where you picked these ways of thinking and behaving up from your family? And if you really consider it, they're not who you are. They're patterns, beliefs, and behaviors that you learn. You learn from your environment. And we all have a whole slew of these. So much of our experience of ourselves is actually just a collection of these false beliefs, behaviors, and ways of being that we think who we are. But they're not really who we are. They're learned behavior. So many of us are manifesting all of the time. Actually, we're all manifesting all of the time. But many of us are manifesting things that we don't really want because of these ingrained ways of being. Now, I'd like to touch on something at the very beginning here because it always comes up as a question. And I am not a master of the universe. So I think this is something for us to all consider. Oftentimes, when we speak about manifestation, people say things like, well, what if I accidentally have a negative thought? Yeah, a negative thought. Am I automatically going to bring that thing to me? My sense is that, and this is based on the brain science that we'll get into momentarily, and also just my understanding, my very limited understanding, really, as a human being, what do I really know of manifestation? If I was to sit and focus on that thought that I'm calling negative day in and day out, which is what many of us do, it is very likely that I will see some version of that thought come to fruition in my reality. It's kind of just the nature of the brain. And if you want to go a little further, you could say the nature of the law of resonance. Many of us think of the law of attraction, but there's a law of resonance, which we're going to get into in a later session. Now, if you just think about something and you're like, oh no, I thought about that thing. I'm going to create something I don't want. I don't think it works that automatically. Now, maybe you're so powerful that you just have a slip of a thought and before you know it, it's in your reality. That could be true for you. However, I don't think it serves us to walk around feeling afraid of every not perfect, happy thought we have turning into something bad in our lives. I don't think that serves us. I think that causes more stress and more anxiousness. And naturally, as human beings, we have these thoughts that we consider bad or judgmental or stressful or negative. It's okay. It's okay. One thing that I do, and I've done for decades, and I believe I first learned it from my beloved Saima, my beloved teacher of 20 years. And again, coming back to this awareness that thoughts are energy, thoughts are vibration. And when I think that thought, it is in my field. This might sound like a bunch of nonsense to some of you, but give it a try if you like. When you have a thought and you don't want that thought to come to fruition in your life, you can say cancel, cancel, cancel. Just say cancel 3 times. So you can say it in your language, of course, if English is not your native language. Say cancel, cancel, cancel. And the intention there is that we are stopping that energetic movement of that thought from manifesting. Now, again, that might sound like a whole lot of nonsense, but I practice it and it makes me feel better. So feel free to come into that. Bevan, hi, Bevan. Is there a way to access this program as a recording? It is 3 where I am and difficult to be fully present. Yes, my love. I'm going to see if there's any way to create that. Unfortunately, everything on Insight Timer, unless you record an audio and repost it, it's not available at a later time. So unfortunately, at this moment, not. But always feel free to DM me or email me. You know my email, and there might be a way that I can share it with you. So thanks for asking. Yeah, and if whenever you join sessions like this and it's the middle of the night or you're not able to fully retain, I always sense that we kind of retain as much as we can consciously, and a lot of this information goes into the subconscious mind. And if we keep exploring concepts like this, that is more available in our subconscious and then ultimately conscious mind. We can draw upon it in moments and be like, oh wow, I didn't even remember that I remembered that. Yes, my love, of course. So we have these powerful minds. We are often creating things that we don't necessarily want because of these old ways of thinking and believing who we are, how reality is. And so we're creating, just not really creating that much of what we want. So let's touch on the brain for a moment here. These amazing brains that allow us to perceive reality. Yes, and that's also part of the fascinating thing about training our minds and kind of decluttering our minds and feeding our brains with information and also the foods we're eating. It enhances our ability to use these powerful brains even more. In our brains, we have a bundle of nerves kind of at the base of the skull. And these nerves are called the reticular activating system, also often known as the RAS, R-A-S, the reticular activating system. And this knowledge is becoming more and more well known because visualization and manifestation are becoming more and more popular. People really want to know, okay, how do I manifest what I want? So we're learning more about what's actually happening in the brain. This part of the brain, the reticular activating system, it has different functions. However, one of its primary functions is to act as a filter. In every moment, we've found that the brain is filtering. This is always fascinating to me. It's filtering 2 million bits of information, I believe, every second. Is that possible? I want to say every minute, but I'm pretty sure it's every second. I need to touch up on my information here. But 2 million bits of information in every moment. And our brains can't process that. Think about that. 2 million bits of activity happening around you in every moment. We can't consciously take all of that in, right? Our brains only process out of those 2 million bits. The brain can only consciously process 140 of those bits of information. 2,140,000, right? We don't really retain much consciously. We're not really aware fully consciously of what's happening in our environments because there's just so much happening. So the reticular activating system helps to filter in the information that we deem as important. And the information that we deem as important is usually categorized in information that's going to keep us safe, so survival instincts, and also that which we value the most, meaning like our belief systems. So if I have a really strong belief that, that the world is a beautiful place, and it's really ingrained in me, it's not like a happy affirmation because I feel miserable all the time. It's like an ingrained belief in me that the world is a beautiful place. This part of the brain will actually filter in the information that proves the world is a beautiful place and filter out the information that might make me see the world otherwise. Now, naturally, I'm going to see some of all of it. But this part of the brain, part of its job is to make sure that the information it deems as important is what is coming in consciously. So I'm going to share an example that many of you can probably relate to. One time I was going through a breakup, and the person that I had been dating went to Brown University. And all of a sudden, I'm seeing Brown University stickers on every car I pass. I'm seeing advertisements for Brown University. I end up hearing somebody over talking about Brown University. All of a sudden, this university that wasn't in my awareness at all, it was everywhere. And I'm in like that heartbreak mode. So I'm like, there, that makes me think of him, and that makes me think of him, right? And this is because I was so hooked into this experience of the breakup and thinking about it and thinking about him and thinking about how he was going to Brown University. I was focusing on it so much that all of a sudden it was everywhere in my awareness. It wasn't that all of a sudden everyone bought Brown University bumper stickers, or all of a sudden it became the trendy thing to speak about. It was that I was so focused on it that my brain started to filter it in as important information. Yeah, exactly, Mel. You buy a car, right? Or maybe you're just thinking about buying a car, and all of a sudden you see that car everywhere, and you're like, wow, this is a really popular car right now. No, I mean, it might be, right? But this is just the way that the brain functions. And we all have experiences like this, where if we were to really be aware of how this filter works, we'd start to see, oh, right. It's not that all of a sudden this thing was more prominent in my reality. It's that I was more focused on it. And so all of a sudden I started to be more aware of that in the world around me. So just take a breath. Drop an emoji if you can relate to this experience, where you were thinking about something so much that all of a sudden you started to see it everywhere. Maybe it was a car you wanted to buy, or a certain style of clothing, or maybe it was a certain type of yoga, or maybe you started to think about taking a yoga teacher training, and all of a sudden you're seeing them everywhere. Yeah, these brains are amazing. So this can go the other way as well, right? If I'm focusing, and I actually had an experience of this the other day, in this last however long it's been that I've just been in this really tumultuous place, and it's been very challenging and just very painful, and it's just been a whole lot lately. I noticed that I was just getting caught in these thoughts about how sad I was, and it was like they weren't even fully conscious thoughts, but about how life was painful or difficult, or I didn't have what I need, or I was scared. All of these kind of not even fully conscious thoughts were clearly what I had been focusing on. And because I was focusing on them all the time, that's what I was experiencing. I was miserable. I've been so miserable a lot of these past few months because of how I'm processing different things that are happening around me, but really my perception. And so the other day, I had this opportunity. My beautiful parents were visiting, and they're like my everything. They're my heart. And I was in this store with my mom, and I noticed that here I was just feeling so down inside. I wasn't having any conscious thoughts about anything being not good, but I was feeling so down. And I became aware, because awareness, my friends, is one of the key components to shifting anything in our lives. Otherwise, we just keep trudging along in the same patterns, habits, and behaviors, manifesting the same things that we don't really want to be manifesting again and again. So I became aware in that moment that I was feeling really down. Even though I was with my mom doing something that I enjoyed, I was with one of my favorite people in the world who I live thousands of miles away from. Yeah. And in that moment that I became aware that I was creating this kind of miserableness, I don't know, misery, that sounds too intense, but I was just creating this sense of misery inside of me. And I shifted it. I said, all right. I took a breath. I took a few breaths. I kind of moved my body a little. I felt my beautiful heart. And I said, Selena, you have so much to be grateful for. Right now, you're with your beloved mom who you love so much. Like, you have everything you need. You're okay. You're taken care of. It's okay right now. And I just started to speak to myself differently and connect with gratitude. And I was looking at my mom, reminding myself of how much I have to be grateful for. And all of a sudden, I swear, not within a minute of shifting my mindset, I started hearing these people in the store like, oh my gosh, this is so wonderful. And oh, I love this thing so much. And like every conversation I started to hear around me was happy, grateful, positive, optimistic. And it's not that all of a sudden these uplifted people were closer to me. It's that my brain started to the vibration, the thought processes that I was focusing on. Can you feel me here, my friends? You feel what I'm putting out here? Are you kind of seeing this in your own life? Can you relate to what I'm saying? Do you have any questions? This is the power of your mind. It's not just a woo esoteric thing that I also believe much of wholeheartedly, but this is rooted in your powerful brains. Yeah. So, this is the power of our focus. Many of you have heard these sayings like, where thought goes, energy flows. What we put our attention on grows. What we think about, we bring about. There's so many little catchy phrases, yeah, to really help us realize that we are creating. And not just from a sense where we're like beating ourselves up if we don't feel good. I know some of us have chronic illnesses or different types of things happening, and we beat ourselves up. Oh, I must be manifesting this. It's not here for us to judge ourselves or be unkind with ourselves. I know people who have fantastic decades-long sadhana practices, meditation, breathing, positive visualization, affirmations, and they still have chronic illnesses. These teachings, at least as far as I'm concerned, are not here to make us feel bad about ourselves. They're not here to make us beat ourselves up. They're here as an opportunity for awareness, and compassion, See, Sid? That's beautiful. And this is actually, so Sid's sharing something here, my friends, and I really want to highlight this. Sid, thanks, Sid, for letting me share this. I imagine it's okay because you dropped it in the public chat. I had such a bad day and was really telling myself to change. Was really telling myself to change my mindset. And then here you are, open the app by chance. This is what I'd like to highlight, my friends. If we are really shifting our mindset, you know, Sid, for example, here is aware that they're not feeling very good, right? Something's not working. And so they start to tell themselves to change, to shift their mindset. And so their awareness starts to reach for different things. This amazing part of the brain doesn't only act as a filter, it also helps us to manifest. Because this filter will start to filter in the information that correlates to that which we are focusing on. So for example, if I'm focusing on, okay, I'm choosing a positive mindset. I'm ready to shift my mindset. I'm ready to up-level my internal game of well-being and joy and what I create in my life. I'm ready to do this. Even if I don't totally feel it yet, I'm really starting to focus on that, even if it's just for a moment. This part of the brain goes, oh, this is important. This person's really focusing on this shift, this change, this transformation, this thing that they want. And so it says, remember that app, Insight Timer? Oh yeah, there were really good things there for shifting mindset. Oh, remember those live sessions? You should look at those live sessions. There might be something there to help you shift your mindset. And this isn't happening consciously, but this is the way the brain works. You start visualizing this epic vacation. Maybe not now because we're on lockdown again. Many of us are going into lockdown, or some of us are in lockdown, but you start visualizing this amazing vacation. And rather than focusing on the thoughts of, I can't, I won't, I don't know how, you just picture you're there. You see yourself in that place. You feel those good feelings. You imagine that cool drink in your hand, or the sun on your skin, or doing these things that you love. You imagine that regularly. You're focusing on it regularly as a way to train your mind, to train your brain, and even your emotions. And because of this part of your brain that all of a sudden says, oh, whoa, they're focusing on this. This is important now because of their focus. You feel me here? Because of your focus. It starts to say, ooh, did you see that discounted airfare? Ooh, did you see that beautiful place? Ooh, remember that friend who went to that epic place 20 years ago? You should reach out to them. It starts to notice things in your environment to actually help you create what you're wanting. It's not something that's by chance or luck. When you really focus on something fully, your brain is here and designed to help you create it as a reality. And part of this is because the brain does not discern between imagination and reality. Get this. I mean, consider that. Your brain doesn't know the difference between an amazing fantasy and something that has actually happened. That's why we can get caught in these painful, anxious thoughts, thinking about things that haven't even happened, because our brain is processing them like they're happening right now. It works the other way also. You can imagine your best life, this most beautiful relationship, this amazing career, healing, peace, harmony. You can imagine these things with your powerful mind on a daily basis, day in, day out, with an emotion. It starts to create these synaptic connections in the brain that become neural pathways. It starts to Tell your RAS that this is important information, and before you know it, because of your focus, your brain is not only aware of things, but it's helping you get to where you want to go. It helps to highlight, to spotlight the pathways that take you into what you're wanting. All right, I'm going to pause here. We just have a few more minutes left in our session. So I'm going to read a couple of your comments, and then we're going to dive into a practice for the last part of our session together. Yes, exactly, Nicole, exactly. Yes, beautiful, everyone. Beautiful. Thanks for sharing these things. Yes, Nicole, it's not just our minds, it's what we speak into reality as well. So if you're always complaining, if you're always talking about how something's wrong, that is also part of your thought process. It's contributing to the vibration you're in, the emotional experiences you're having. And just to clarify, from my personal standpoint, there's no good or bad vibration. There's no good or bad emotion. There's qualitative experiential differences, meaning a vibration is an experience. It's not good or bad, right or wrong. You're not bad if you're in a low vibration. It's just going to give you a certain kind of experience. You're not bad if you're feeling fear or rage or shame. It's just a certain kind of experience. And many of us are wanting these, lighter experiences or experiences of joy or peace. And I wouldn't even say that those things are necessarily better than or good. They're just a different vibration. Literally, if you were just to gauge vibration on a scale, different. They just happen to be what most of us are wanting more of. So just to kind of take some of that internal pressure or guilt away for not feeling good all of the time. Yeah, that's part of human nature. Yes, and this is another great thing. Thank you. Is it Rima? Yeah, we often worry about how to get there. We're like, oh, well, I have to know every step. This is another fantastic thing about this part of the brain. You don't need to focus on all of the hows or the whys. You just focus on the end result. And again, this is a 5-week series. So we're going to spend time, just moving deeper into all of these areas that we're touching on today. Oh, I love it, my love. Yes, Allison, exactly. That's the law of resonance, baby, right? We're drawn to each other. It's also kind of like how, you can be thinking about someone and you're really feeling them, you're really thinking about them, and they call you, right? Or all of a sudden they just pop up, in your feed instantly. We are vibrational beings. Everything in creation is resonating at different vibrations. And when we sync up with each other, we feel that alignment, we feel that flow. And this works with our lives as well. All right. So for time's sake, I'd like to give us at least a few minutes of an opportunity to practice here. Again, please come back and join us for our following sessions. We're going to just dive deeper and deeper into all of this. Awesome. Yes. So a couple reminders. We have a circle. Love heals all. Wonderful space to stay connected, be together. Yes, love heals all. We can keep diving into this conversation too there. Also, you can, DM me if you have any questions. All right, here we go. For today, we're just going to focus on the practice of visualization. When it comes to manifesting, having strong emotion is also very important. If that arises today, great. If not, no worries. We're going to practice using the power of the mind. So I invite you to close the eyes. Again, we'll just be here for a few minutes today. Take a deep breath in, maybe shake your body out for a moment, and then relax the body and find stillness. Feel your body settling. Again, the brain doesn't discern between imagination and reality. So the more that we develop this higher mental faculty of imagination, the more we have this ability to really train the brain and train the mind to help us create what we're wanting. Now, if you find that visualization is difficult, which many do, that's okay. I invite you to just maybe close your eyes and think about the space around you and see if you can remember what anything around you looks like. Or another way to do this, if that feels difficult, is to first keep your eyes open, really take in your environment, look at whatever is around you, and take a moment to study the detail, colors, textures, shapes, objects. And then when you close your eyes, see if you can recreate the room in your mind. So feel free to use that as a kind of an introductory visualization practice if it feels difficult. So right now, let's take another conscious breath together. I invite you to think of something that you'd like in your life. And maybe we'll work on something for today that is maybe in more of something that you'd like to create for your life in the next week, the next day, the next week, maybe the next month. And just choose one thing. There may be many things, that's great. Just choose one thing to focus on. And now we're going to start to use this higher mental faculty of imagination to really create an experience in our minds. So I invite you to imagine a day from now, a week from now, a month from now, when this thing or this experience that you're wanting has come to fruition. And remember, this is not about knowing how. We're not sitting here feeding the doubts about it's not possible. I just invite you to imagine that you have what you want. If it's an object, imagine that you are in that object or holding that object or wearing that object. Imagine how it feels on your body. What can you see in this moment of total fulfillment of what you're wanting? What's happening around you? Imagine it like it's effortlessly already happening. Future memory. What do you smell? And again, this is not for us to fall into doubtful thoughts right now. We're just playing with the imagination. What do you smell? What do you see? What can you feel? And how good do you feel inside having this experience have come to fruition? Do you feel joyful, peaceful, in awe, fulfilled? Spend these next few minutes just building on this visualization as much as you can, really bringing it to life in your mind as if what you're wanting is already happening in this moment, not someday, but right now it's already happening. Where are you? What are you doing? How amazing do you feel inside? And if those doubtful thoughts come up or the thoughts about how do I get there, I don't know, just take a breath. Imagine you're just gently pushing those thoughts to the side and come back to using your beautiful mind to imagine what you're wanting. Just that. Breathe deeply, sit tall. Even place your hands on your heart if you wish, a smile on your face for these last few moments as you just keep building or envisioning that which you're wanting. Let's take a breath together. Relax your body. Feel a smile on your face and open the eyes. So again, you are a powerful mind. We're going to go deeper and deeper into the ability to manifest throughout this series. If you go to my profile page, you can just click on the different sessions to be reminded of them. You probably have a little reminder once you leave this session, it'll pop up for you. So a couple of takeaways for today. One, start to be more aware. Be more aware all throughout the day. What am I thinking when you wake up? What are the thoughts you're focusing on? Thoughts of stress, thoughts of gratitude. When you go to bed, what are you thinking of? Thoughts of stress, thoughts of gratitude. All throughout the day, start to become more aware of what you're thinking. And then consciously choose to shift if you're ready for that. Maybe the first step for you is just the awareness, and that's okay. And you can start to play with this visualization practice. And always maybe thinking about worst case scenarios or how you don't have something or how something's missing. Start to focus on, oh, okay, this is what I have. I'm imagining my future memory. Next week, and the beautiful thing about using future memory and visualization is you start to feel good right now. Even if you don't have that thing that you're wanting, you start to feel better in the moment when you practice. So you can start to practice visualizing. I have a couple of talks here on the app if you're kind of wanting to dive into this again or just a little more before we meet again next week. Thank you so much for your donations, my friends. I'm so grateful for your support. Thank you so much for your donations. And for anyone who's unfamiliar with the donation process here on the app, when you donate, a portion of the donations also support Insight Timer. So you're supporting this amazing platform as well. So thank you so much for your donations. Thank you for your presence. Thank you for your time. And I have another invitation before we come to a conclusion here. And that is to read or listen to the book, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Now, the book is old, so it's not written in the it's not written from the perspective of it's all inclusive. Yes, it's definitely written from an older, Caucasian man perspective. There's nothing wrong with that, but I know that doesn't feel all inclusive for many. Yes, so I invite you, even though it's kind of written in this perception that it is just full of golden nuggets. I remember my beloved teacher Saima said this was Saima's like a prosperity or I can't remember the exact word that Ma used, but like this was Ma's Bible for prosperity. And Ma is a powerful, powerful manifester. So I immediately started reading that book, listening to that book. So even though it might not have the most well-rounded perspective, it is full of gems, my friends, to train us to connect with source energy in ways that also are aware of the mind and the emotions and how we're focusing as a way to really manifest what we want in our lives. So again, the book is called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. I'll be going through it again during this manifestation series. I invite you to join me. It's just a powerful book to revisit again and again as a way to remind us of the powerful vibrational beings that we are. So I love you. So thank you so much for being here. I trust that anything that you heard in this session is what you needed to hear. Remember, it's a lot of information. And we all also just kind of sat with the awareness of the power in our minds, which was the intent of this session. So we'll go deeper into practical tips for manifesting as we move on for next week. Oh, I love you so. So wonderful to be together. And I'm so happy to see so many of you that I haven't seen in so long. At least I haven't seen your chats. And lastly, just as a reminder, if you want to join us in our circle here on the app, Love Heals All. Love Heals All. Thank you, beloveds. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you. I manifested you, and maybe you manifested me. Thank you for being in my life. I love you. So bless you, bless you, bless you. Bless you in your life, your relationships, your mind, your beautiful heart, your beautiful soul. Bless you in all of your creations. See you soon. Let's be together next week.